specifically around how to use empathy specifically. That's hard. How to use empathy specifically. So thinking about empathy with users, I think before we can have empathy, there has to be a simple acknowledgement or the ability to be aware and humble. Um, so talking about using empathy in business as someone who is an empath. And empaths are people who can easily take on other people's energies. And I think how to effectively use empathy in businesses, but how to use empathy specifically in business and in a way that's useful and effective. I think first it's creating even the acknowledgement or an awareness. And Judith Orloff has a lot of great information that's been super helpful to me, specifically around grounding and awareness. So I think so much of empaths, we're just feeling all these things that we don't even know what exactly we're feeling. So how we can really fine tune our empathy and use it as a superpower in business starts with, for me, grounding, being safe in your own environment, and being able to acknowledge when you are or how empathetic you're being or the way you're being empathetic, as opposed to just kind of being empathetic or being an empath in a way that you're completely unaware of what's even happening. So that's number one. And then using that empathy in terms of really connecting actually with the human beings. So often we talk about customer centric, or even this term customer obsessed is really just taking customer centricity to an even higher level. We talk about customers, we talk about users, we talk about user experience, but it's not even about any of that. It's about a human being. And starting number one with this person is a human being, and they have values and hopes and behaviors and fears that can all be triggered in whatever you're creating for them to use. So starting with that, and then really looking at your product or service or really experience that you're trying to improve. And I think a key thing for empaths and being able to use empathy as a superpower to motivate your business is knowing when to go into that empathetic state and learning, okay, this is the real problem, using that as really a touchstone to go back to whenever you're creating, whenever you're using something. But at some point, we have to be able to step out of that empathy and empathizing so much with other people to actually create a solution. So as an empath, we can often get so completely drowned in other people's emotions and feelings and how horrible this thing was. I think so much of the bad often targets us first, but knowing when you can step back, use that empathy as a milestone, and again, as I said, to kind of measure everything against, but we don't stay in that empathetic state forever because then we wouldn't create anything.